Good to have you on board. Herb Thompson JR. You know what? I got on Facebook and a few places around. I noticed you've been talking a lot about, what's happening in Parry Sound with your own situation. Let's start from the beginning. You've been in Parry Sound for a while.
I moved into Parry Sound about approximately two and a half years ago. I was living in Hurdville, Ontario, out in the Pickies.
And you mentioned you just came to Parry Sound. Now, how long did you live on the River Street area?
Coming up on just over 2 years now. I've been living on River Street.
Now, after a little bit of spending some time on River Street, all of a sudden you just noticed that there was some kind of activity that drew you into a situation. Can you describe what happened there?
Well, I noticed that my one neighbor was always constantly trying to make their issues my issues, and I also noticed some sort of neighborhood conspiracy going on, as this one neighbor that is very accusing me of doing things in my own yard was going from house to house and talking to my neighbors.
So the uptake of all this was that eventually the police came and started to talk to you about the situation and what was happening. Explain what happened then.
Well, see, the police did not even come to talk to me. They rushed up my driveway and terrorized myself and my dog after my wife went to work. And twice they did that. And they took me down to the station and threw me in a jail cell for 3 hours. And then when they let me out, they wrote me up for supposedly removing a dangerous board.
Now, that's just part of the situation that arises. Over the course of time until present, you've been having some interaction with, the town, with the OPP, and trying to get your case heard in the Supreme Court, which is, been held up because of COVID. That's part of the issue. But it seems like there's always delays and delays upon delays, and you've been talking to the public. You've been asking the public to understand your position and getting some support. What would you like to see happen now that you've got a little bit more exposure out there?
I would like to see a little more interest in the fact that the OPP here in Parry Sound do not have a contract. And I've submitted a constitutional question, which is in the rights of 1960, to put this in, and it can go all the way to the Supreme Court. But they seem to keep brushing it off and trying to not include it.
Well, you know what's important now, and this is why I wanted to get a hold of you today. I've been noticing various communities all over the province talking about getting rid of the OPP, changing policing, not happy with what they're getting regarding the cost of the service that they're paying for. And you seem to have that same feedback that you're getting from various people that we're getting, Cadillac prices but Volkswagen service. Tell us what you're hearing.
I'm hearing lots about the fact that there's a lot of mistrust being placed upon the OPP in this town of Parry Sound of ours. There's many things happening that aren't being investigated properly, and I don't know whose policy it is, but they seem to think that they're saving money through this system, but it's not saving the taxpayers any money.
And a lot of people are speaking out about that, that's for sure. Now, very importantly, you know what, a lot of people are saying, okay, what's next? How do I get involved? And I think one of the things that I hear about out there, I've seen some signs around town the other day, about policing and getting some interest around policing. We've talked to other people in other communities. All of a sudden the OPP was here after we had a town police force. No explanation as to what happened. Anybody got a clue what happened?
Well, I hear stories upon stories that there was some corruption that took place upon the disbandment of the town of Parry Sound's original police force. And I also remember that the original town police board did not want to lose their local police force, and somehow it got
sidestepped, I guess.
Yes. So somehow the corruption took place, and the town council said that they wanted to disband the police force when the original police board of Ontario or of Parry Sound did not want that to happen.
Now, most importantly, other people in other communities have spoken up. They were surprised to all of a sudden learn that the OPP was here and weren't even consulted or surprised to see that all of a sudden they're on the hook to pay for these new prices.
Exactly. They have their own system where they call it, the OPP call it business. I call it policing myself. And when, as a taxpayer, I want to feel protected and safe. I don't want to feel bullied by my police force. And that's what's happening today. They have too many officers. These officers are coming from everywhere. They have no vested interest in this town or being a community cop whatsoever. They don't care about what the truth is. They just go ahead and do whatever they want to do.
Do you know what? Going back to the history of when we had our town policing, people got to know the police got to know the people in town. They certainly had the ways and means and understanding of the community to take care of matters, no problem.
This town was a great town to grow up in. I'll tell you that this is my hometown, and I went to school with kids that their fathers were policemen in this town. And they were all good people. We all hung around together. We all did things that normal kids would do. But today you will not see that because these police don't seem to have a vested interest in being community oriented.
Now, where are you going to be going? Is there any leads as to when you'll be able to get to court and hear some of these?
Well, as it stands right now, I've been put off 3 times now because of this COVID-19 that's come along. I was supposed to be in March 26th to set a date for my constitutional question and then a trial for this dangerous board. But it's been put off now and put off again until August the 6th.
Well, most importantly, you've been putting some blogs on Facebook and some blogs on your own personal pages about your experiences and understanding from all aspects of policing and even your own personal situation. So if somebody wants to find a way to go and consume some of that and come to an understanding, how do they do that?
They could go on to Facebook and check out, I have a page set up. It's called @LegalIssues1. And you can take a look on there and take a look at the constitutional question and see exactly what it is I'm bringing up, the fact that the OPP do not have a contract. And there's a lot of distrust being placed upon them. And I also have a group, Parry Sound Constitutional Question and Jurisdiction. And there's a group that you could sign up to and start posting if you have anything to say about the OPP and Parry Sound.